Flawless victory.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Mohsin Khan speaking here. Thank you for being here, I guess. That was corny. That was a little bit corny. But yeah, please, if you are here, new here, please do subscribe to the channel. And for anybody else here, please do the share and please do the liking, all of that good stuff. Comment down below as well. After you heard what this video is about, so it makes sense. And yeah, if you could do any of these acts, or at the very least, please do like the video, because it will actually do more for me than you'll ever know. Honestly, the YouTube algorithm isn't doing much for me at all, but yeah, if you could do any of these actions, that would mean the world to me, so please. So I'm going to be talking about my experiences as a Muslim in the workplace. This has been something that's been on my mind for such a long time. It's something that I wanted to talk about, you know, out in the open for so long, because I'm sure there's plenty of other people that have been through the same or similar, or you just want to generally just share an experience with, because some of this may be relatable. So yeah, we're going to kick straight into it then. So I used to work at a company, right? I won't reveal the name of the company. However, so this is a really big company though. Everybody and their dog would have heard of this company. I used to work for them, big in the sports world as well. And I started off on a role there I was doing for about a year or two. Then I got moved on to a secondment, so a 6 months contract. And whilst I was there, now the atmosphere in this place to start with, it was a very young white guys only type of place. That was like 95% of the people there, and you know they had a lot of their own banter, but I could hold my own as well. But I definitely stuck out like a sore thumb, because especially when you don't drink and do any of these things. So there's a number of things that went on here. One of the things was that I actually won a work trip, an incentive to go to Dubai. And I was there. I was with like 15 other white guys or so, and they're all drinking, which is of course fine and all that. And they came to a situation where we were there in the Atlantis Palm. They were, you know, they just had these sofa bits outside. They were all getting drinks on the company credit card as well. And all I was asking for was just a shisha, because I was just smoking shisha. That's all I was doing, right? And I just had it in my mind. I knew they'd be a bit funny about it. And I just thought if they want to pay for it, that's fine. If not, whatever. And but then yeah, the manager was saying to me, "Oh, I'm not sure we'll do that. You know, I'm not sure we can cover that." And mind you, they've been paying for alcohol and all these stupid parties and whatnot from the start of the trip right up until the end. But when it came to a £30 shisha, they were just like, "Oh, I'm not sure we could do this." Why? Because it's not alcohol. It was just something that rubbed me up the wrong way. And this, along many other experiences I'm talking about in this workplace, hopefully will make sense and paint a picture as to why I felt like I stood out like a sore thumb. And it's something that still sticks with me today, really. Of course, you get over it, but other things that were happening as well. So I was on a 6 month secondment, and then they kept extending it for a month at a time, until I went back to do the job I was doing on day one, which is pretty annoying because I wanted to be there. I like doing that job. However, they said to me that I have to do an interview. If I wanted the permanent role there, I would have to do an interview. There were other people that started on the same role as me, on that 6 months secondment like me. They were getting permanent roles without an interview. Okay, without an interview. All these things start racking up. You start to wonder, like, I went for an interview, but apparently I didn't get it. And then I went back down to the job I was doing. But the job I was starting off at, even my colleagues around the time, even they were saying to me that, you know, do you think it was racism? Do you think it was because you're brown or maybe you look Muslim? And I'm just like, maybe it could be. But the feeling I had inside me was very strong on that. It definitely was. Yeah, it definitely was racist. And yeah, being the only brown guy in this workplace as well, I got asked so many times. I swear it was probably like every other day I would get asked about, "Oh, how come you can't drink? Have you ever wanted to drink?" And drink. Everything in this country is about drinking. And when you don't drink, God, do you feel like such an alien? Every other day I was asking about drinks. And within this office I was working at, the ops manager, so the manager, she would organise a lot of nights out frequently, but I never went to them. And she didn't like that because this was her department, everything like that. She liked the control of everyone, you know, her making nights out and then everybody going to it. But if they did anything else, like, I don't know, like a meal or like a go ape or a soul course or whatever, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Everything was centered around drinking though, so I never went because I do not drink alcohol at all. And she didn't like that as well. She didn't like that, and you could see it was affecting the office politics inside as well, because everybody that would have been on the nights out with her and everybody else, they would have been able to build more rapport, more connection, and then yourself, you feel like you're falling behind because you're not doing that. Even you're still speaking to people in the workplace and, you know, having banter, holding your own. You're not being an alien or whatever. And that is just something that happens across every single workplace I've been at. When there's always nights out, there's always stories of this person did this and this person did that. And let's be honest, this person had an encounter with that person who's already married, and next thing you know, they've got promotion. But don't indulge in any of that kind of stuff. And the funny thing about this story is that same woman that was on about the ops manager. Now, the thing is about me, right? So I'm aware that I'm a minority in Britain here, in a majority white place, right? But I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to make a man, I'm not going to make a victim of myself and play the race card. This thing happened to me because of race. I said to myself, I'm never going to do that, right? But when the amount of things that happen in this place, the amount of events that happened, the way I was treated, and just the feeling, you can't really fake a feeling. I just felt so strongly it was because of this. And this is probably the only time I've really felt this way, unless somebody says something outright racist here. And truth be told, it did affect me as well, 100%. It's not something that you get sleepless nights over, but it's something that you really don't forget, because it's not a nice experience to have. But the good Lord is always looking over me, because after that place I left and I went to another job, and that was a better job. I was earning more money, I got more respect, and that was transferable to work from home during the pandemic as well, whereas the job I was doing before really wouldn't work if you were whilst everything was shut down. Also, when I went to the workplace after that workplace I was talking about, there was a guy I met there, and he said he used to go out with a woman. He was dating the woman that was the ops manager there. And I was telling him about my experience of what happened there. Then he was like, oh yeah, she actually is racist. They actually used to go on nights out and she just opened the door and be like, oh yeah, the effing packies and whatnot. So, and when I heard that, I was just like, whoa. Praying in the workplace, right? So some places, I've worked for some big places, so some not so big, and some of the big workplaces, they had a prayer room where you had wudu facilities, and you had prayer mats and everything, and they understood that. Some of them they just shove you in the first aid room or any other empty room that they have, and making it sound like they have a prayer room. And it's like, no, it's a first aid room. So I was praying in the first aid room for a number of years as well. Some of them just have no prayer facilities at all and just have no regards. But you're booking days off for Eid, right? Because you can speak to any Muslim out there. Every Muslim has worked at least 1 or 2 Eids in their lifetime, or more even. Of course, I'm not going to complain about soldiering through the Ramadan days, because that's what Ramadan's about. I would have thought by now that in this multicultural Britain that we're living in, there's so many religions, Hinduism, Sikh, Christianity, Judaism and Islam, some of the biggest ones, and yet the religious holidays are still not given off. I don't understand that. Of course, I know it shouldn't be given as a public holiday to everybody, but for that person's religion, that actually should be given off. I don't know how we're in this so-called multicultural Britain where we celebrate all forms of this and that. When you work for these big companies, they'll always talk about, oh, how diverse, how understanding, how this and how that, but yet they're still making people work Eid days. Do you know what I mean? It really doesn't make sense. And I'm going to play this clip from you now from Mr. Isla.
And if possibly, perhaps maybe if it's possible to book a day off for Eid.
Ah, that's the little Muslim Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, minus the old fat man climbing down your chimney, borderline breaking and entering.
Now, what day was it you were looking to take?
The 18th.
Well, I suppose we do take 2 weeks for Christmas, so go on then. But just this once?
Well, it's sort of an annual thing. Never mind. I might need the 20th off as well. My in-laws, they're Pakistani, They do on a different day.
Actually going to be those 3 days, or is the moon going to tell us otherwise when the time comes?
No, I think the moon's cool with it.
You know, I think in this multicultural country we should probably make Eid a national holiday.
Yeah. I think you're right.
There was once a time as well where there was a woman in not my previous workplace. So I used to bring us samosas every now and then. Prior to this happening, so a woman told me that she doesn't agree with the way halal meat is done. That she'd rather it be electrocuted and this and that. I was just like, right, and you know, she doesn't have halal meat, and I was like, for starters, you know, you're going to go to every KFC and Subway and find out which is halal and then choose to not go there. And I brought in samosas, of course. There was the keema ones, the meat ones, of course, halal, and then she ended up eating them. It's the way people that would ask me questions as well. And once had a guy just ask me everything. So everything you can think about Christmas, he's asked if we did it for Eid. Do you have an Eid tree? Do you do Eid cards? Do you have an Eid carol? Do you have an Eid turkey? No, word for word, bar for bar. I don't mind being asked questions about the religion or anything like that, but I swear sometimes I was just being asked mindless, pathetic questions. I think some people were actually genuinely trying to take the mick out of me. There's once a time where so I started a new job and there's a lady, she was training us, and then she always made it a bit awkward every time religion came up, but the funny thing is no one would actually bring it up, it was herself. So she was talking about the knowledge base, you know how there's an internal knowledge base for every kind of company out there. She goes, oh yeah, this is the knowledge base. Think of it like your Bible, or think of it like your Quran. I really shouldn't bring religion into the workplace, and that's what she said, and she just made it so awkward. She did it all herself as well. And then when she was showing us the seats of where we were going to sit, she sat me down and she goes, this is where you're going to sit. There you go, it's facing the mosque, so you can get some spiritual guidance. And I was just like, what in the hell? I'm not offended by it. I just think it was just her just being... But yeah, I just thought I'd share some of my experiences, and if you have had any kind of experiences or that are similar or any other ones, or even some good ones even, please do share them below. But yeah, this is a video that I thought I'd make. Hope you did enjoy it. As I mentioned, please do like, please do share, please do subscribe. I look forward to catching you guys in the next one.
Fatality.